Hello, my name is Lizzie, and this is Liz's Literary Life, and today we are doing my May Tipsy Wrap Up. I'm really scared of spilling this, because it's very pink. This is a Cosmo on the rocks from a bottle, so it's pink. And I got this fun glass that is plastic from the grocery store. And today we're going to talk about all the books that I read in May. I'm a little tipsy, I gotta admit. This little pink drink is pretty strong. So, let's just go for it. First, I need to put my drink down for the stats, because the stats are serious business. I read 9 books in the month of May, which is fine. It is what it is. I read 2,889 pages for an average of 321 pages per book. My average audiobook length was 8.63 hours, which is pretty short. I think there were 2 audiobooks, and one of them was short, so my average rating was a 4.0625, which is pretty good. The cats are running around, so you might be able to hear them. I spent an average of 12.25 days on each book, which is kind of long for me. There were a couple books that took me a really long time this month, or I started in a previous month and finished this month. I read an average of 96.3 pages per day, which is lower than I like it to be, but it's okay. All reading is good reading. And I read for a total of 37.93 hours this month for an average of 4.21 hours per book, an average pages per hour of about 83. I did not make a Jigsaw TBR for May, so I was saying my TBR, because of the Women's Prize, so I was saying my TBR were the 4 shortlist books that I had yet to read at the beginning of May, and I did read all 4 of them, so I did technically read 100% of my TBR. And those are the things. I should have moved over. Probably it was cutting off my face a little, so I'm going to move over for the graphs. Up on the screen right now is my genre breakdown graph, which is so, sparse this month. I read mostly historical fiction, a couple contemporaries, and 1 fantasy. So there's that. I read entirely adult books. So we have a beautiful 1 slice pie chart. It's not even a slice, it's just the whole pie. Someone's going to eat the whole pie. And I read half physical books, a quarter ebooks, and a quarter audiobooks. And my ratings look like this. I gave 2.5, 2 4.5, 2 4, 1 3, and 1 2.5. And let's get into it. And actually, this is going to be a really quick one, hopefully, because I just posted my Women's Prize reading vlog, and I talk about a bunch of these in there. And so I'm not going to go really into them here because I already talked about them recently, and you can see my full reviews over in that video, which will be linked right here. Did I get the right side? I think I did. You can laugh at me at the comments if I didn't. But I'm going to talk about the ones that were not in that video, which is just maybe 3 of them. So we're going to talk about 3 books out of 9. I also might be calculating wrong. Maybe it's 4 books out of 9. I don't know. I can't count. First up, we have The Sword. I was going to grab it, but that's too much work. The Sword of Kaigan by M.L. Wang. I feel like I finished this a really long time ago. This was technically a buddy read with Danielle from Danielle Reads, except she hasn't finished it yet. Love her butt. It is a reread for her, so I get it. This is a fantasy it's a fantasy. I read it a long time ago. It feels like I started it in March. So there's that. But this, I gave 4 stars. I feel like this was in a previous wrap up, but maybe it was not at all. I feel like it was good. It was good. There were a couple things that I didn't like. I can only remember one of them, and it's really nitpicky, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I liked it a lot. There were some emotional beats that were like really strong, and I think the plot I remember. Okay, so one thing that bugged me was M.L. Wang put in fantasy words for everything, and there was a glossary, and like I was constantly flipping to the glossary, which to some extent that's fine for like the groups of people and the cultures and the languages. Like I totally get it, but she had fantasy words for units of time and distance, and because like they're on a different planet, so like the hours are going to be different lengths, but it just took me out of the story every single time, having to just flip back and be like, oh, that's equivalent to 0.72 minutes. Like I don't know, that like bugged me and took me out of the story because it was like translated, like it's in English anyway, so I don't know, that kind of bothered me. The other thing was that I felt like it being a standalone, or it being marketed as a standalone, did it a disservice, because I think it really would benefit from a continuation. And I know that there's like short stories that are in the same world, I think, but mostly I just was like, this doesn't feel like it's over. Like 100 pages from the end, or like 50 pages from the end, I was like, how is this going to wrap up? Like there are so many giant world things that are not like, how are they going to be wrapped up? And they just weren't. And that kind of bugged me. And I get that like there's certain stuff that's open and it's not going to be wrapped up for the characters within their lifetimes, and we're following the characters, and I get that, but also like I wanted answers in terms of the broader political world things. But overall, I liked it. I thought it was good. Up next, I read Memphis by Tara M. Stringfellow, which I gave 5 stars, but it's in my Women's Prize vlog, so I'm not going to talk about it. And then, I'm going to put my drink down so I can gesticulate. Then I read Now Is Not the Time to Panic by Kevin Wilson, and this was the Shelf This Book Club pick for the month of May, picked by Ruby from Ruby Red, and the Shelf This Book Club is hosted by His Bailey Reading, and I liked this a lot. This is about a 2 teenagers, or like one teenager and her friend, like there's a main character and her friend, who create this piece of art that kind of gets out of hand one summer. And so there's like a kind of a past timeline of that, and then it's the main character kind of reckoning with it as an adult, which is really interesting. I thought it was like a book about teenagers but for adults. Like it very much felt like that in a good way. Like it was very nostalgic. It really felt like something that would happen in my little hippie hometown, so that was really fun. I thought the themes were really strong, and there were some scenes that like got me. So it's short. I listened to this on audio basically all in one sitting. It's like 6-hour audiobook. And so I really would recommend this one. I gave it 4.5 stars. I don't know, I guess I didn't like love it enough for it to be a 5-star, but this was really strong. I thought it was really good. And then I got a drink first. And then I read Monkey Bridge by Lan Cao, which is so I read it because Lan Cao is was receiving an honorary degree from the school that I graduated from with my master's this year. And so she was speaking at my commencement, and I, like, for my undergrad commencement, I read the book of the speaker. It was Margaret Shetterly, who wrote Hidden Figures, so I read Hidden Figures before that, and I was like, I feel like it's a tradition now, like, I wanted to read her book. So I did. And then I heard her speak. And honestly, her speech was better than the book was. Like, the book was good. Like, it was okay. It's called Monkey Bridge. It's about Vietnam War refugees in the U.S. and the experience of a young girl who arrived in the U.S. when she was about 13, I think, and it's about her relationship with her mom and with her culture and with America and the American dream. And I thought the themes were strong. It didn't really work that well for me. But then I heard Lan Kao speak, and she was so good and so inspiring, and like that book was inspired by her own experience coming to the US from Vietnam at age 13 in like during the war, and she said, so the character in the book at the very end, she like applies, she's talking to her mom, it's about her relationship with her mother mostly, like that's the main thematic element, that and the American dream. And she really wants to go to college, she wants to apply to college because she kind of feels very stifled with her mom, but she doesn't want to hurt her mother by leaving, and so there's this whole tension. At the end, she ends up going to Mount Holyoke, which is where I graduated from. And the author, Lan Kao, also went to Mount Holyoke and graduated from there. And she talked about how, like, through high school, she was learning English and she was really, really struggling to fit in. And then she felt for the first time like she belonged in America at Mount Holyoke. And I was like, so her speech was really powerful, and I'm glad I read her book and had that background for the speech. I didn't love the book, but it was good. It was a solid read. Yeah, it was solid, and I'm glad I read it. Then, oh my gosh, the rest of them? Is it really 9 books? No, it's only 8. Oopsies. I had my spreadsheet counting it wrong. It's counting the word title as one of the titles of books. That's my bad. Then I read Fire Rush. I gave it 2.5 stars. That's in my Women's Prize vlog. Then I read Demon Copperhead, 4.5. Pod, 5 stars for Pod. And Black Butterflies, low 4, 3.5. I think I'm going to change it to a 3.5. Those are all in my Women's Prize vlog. You should go watch it. And then that's all I really have to say. So I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. That's all I have to say. Bye!